You compromise the nation's entire security. No, you compromise the entire, and I don't know this whether it's election season or not, Mr. Subramaniam. This should be the biggest talking point in the media as well.
Allow him to go to the war room.
Sir, please. Sir, please.
I agree. I agree, Arnab. In this case, don't forget the court was not trying the case on merits. You just needed strong prima facie evidence that there is a case
which was
against him. He is wanted in India. We were not able to do this. It is absolutely basic thing. Don't forget the earlier hearings or administrative hearings in government. This was a court, number one. Joginder has this limited point with which I agree, that all the external interface, the work is done by the law ministry and the people are provided by the law ministry. So probably a lot of the blame has to go to the law ministry in this particular case. I wouldn't be surprised if if that happened in this particular case. But the point is, we need a complete relook at the professionalism of CBI. It should be made accountable. Umbilical cord with government must be cut, and that is a fundamental thing. And I have not seen a single good case, in 2 to 3 years the CBI has cracked and got conviction in the past 50 years.
Sir, I say this, there was a delay on part of the government for calling for a CBI inquiry, true or false. The Congress at that time seemed to be in denial about the criminality of those who are at the receiving end of the information. Pranab Mukherjee was then defense minister. He said, leakage of every official secret does not mean treason. People want to have commercial information. My question is, are details of the Navy's operation in the Sir Creek area, do they qualify as commercial information, Mahroof? And you tell me, Mahroof, why did the government not arrest or detain Shankaran? Why was he allowed to slip away?
Little more than
the same people,
mechanical boat.
No, the same people who allowed him to slip away have now perhaps used their influence to close the case just before the general elections. Just before the general elections, they simply...
Arnab, see, primarily... Arnab, primarily the operational issues are involved in Sir Creek. There is also a maritime issue. There is also an energy related issue in Sir Creek. But equally there is a commercial issue. What kind of equipment to be bought, everything. You see, what does an arms dealer look for? He keeps looking for opportunities. And those opportunities are going to be available to him in scenarios that are created by which they know that this kind of equipment can fit into that scenario. So at every stage, the tentacles of the arms dealers had reached well deep into the system where they should not have been. The war room is the holy of holies for all the three services. And if it gets into the ops room, they can get in anywhere. And that is really the worrying aspect for national security.
Sir, Mahroof, now let me actually share the details of this, and viewers who don't know the details of this might be a little shocked with the implications of this. And which is why I am saying with great concern today that I'm really concerned that the fact that Shankaran has got away is not even a talking point in large section of the media. The fact is that this man Shankaran had his hands on very secret and confidential files. There were 8 files, ladies and gentlemen. I am sharing this today so that you know, and then you can talk about this, because under using the hashtag the new Mr. Q, we can talk about this, make it a subject of public discussion, and maybe force our country's politicians to include this in the subject of debate. But today the Congress party has just refused to participate in the Newshour debate on this subject. I am putting this therefore in the public domain with all responsibility.
Arnab, if I may just come in here. Arnab, can I just come in here?
Yeah,
I just want to say the fact that Congress party does not want to talk about this subject, it reflects the fact that A, they are embarrassed about it, B, they think national security is by and by, and they think they've done enough justice to national security when even editorials in the papers in the last 2-3 days have said that they wasted 10 years when India could have got its act together and consolidated its national security. So I think they've really ignored national security.
No, I don't think they can afford to in an election season or just say we won't participate in a debate. The question is this: there are copies of 8 files, ladies and gentlemen. The man Shankaran I am calling the new Mr. Q, the information he had was so dangerous that if it went into the hands of the Pakistanis, if it goes out of the war room, if that information goes in the hands of the Pakistanis, it compromises your and my security. Today, our government, the CBI, let him get away. We couldn't even present the information properly when we had it. Now you will ask us, what was the information which he had? This is what he had. There were 8 files created on 16th May 2005. They were all marked super secret, which was a classification between confidential and top secret. They generally concerned the operations of the Indian Navy's border security force in the Sir Creek area on the border with Pakistan. In other words, this is exactly if Pakistan wants to compromise India's security in the Sir Creek area, which is a zone of contention, you know, at least from the Pakistani perspective, not from ours, they need this information. And this information was with this man. This man does business in defense sales. Why would you not touch this man? Is a question I ask. There can be only 3 reasons. One, Mr. Subramaniam, and I want you. One, he has political connections. B, he was doing business with people who were representing and making a lot of money in which politicians were also involved. Right? He may say, if that is the case, he may say that if you get after me and you extradite me and bring me back to India, I will reveal a lot more. Including, I will reveal all the other people I was working with. So you do a deal where you understand, you say that, let him stay there. Because I cannot believe the CBI can make such a botched up mistake of the kind that it has made. Mr. Subramaniam, can we rule the option out?
I also agree that it is a prima facie they have to prove that there is a case before the court. The court was not trying the matter on merits. So if it failed to do this basic thing, I'm astonished, and therefore there has to be a deeper explanation. There's larger involvement. Clearly he is involved. I do not know about
Mr. Subramanian, let me go deeper now. I want to share some more information with our viewers, and please speak up on it wherever you can. All that the CBI needed to prove, Mr. Subramaniam, was that the email ID called Vic Branson belonged to Shankaran. And my information is that the CBI in its possession had emails sent from Commander Rana to Vic Branson on 16th May 2005, which contained in an attached format, quote unquote, some useful information on the Creek area. 15 minutes later, at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Vic Branson acknowledged saying, Roger, Roger. Vic Branson further sends the emails, this is dangerous, to Commander Rana on May 17th and 21 saying, hi there again. If the CBI was trying to establish that Vic Branson was indeed Shankaran, the information was with it. How could it have been so careless in recording his testimony of one critical person? Then you say we didn't record the testimony correctly, the British judge pulls you up, the matter is closed, Shankaran is a free man. Tonight he will be sitting in some British pub, laughing away at how foolish the Indian system is, how the people of this country can be so easily taken for a ride, and he's made his money, he's going to live in London. He won't care of the consequences, and maybe he's, whoever's, it's the implications, Mr. Subramaniam.
Arnab, I believe there's one possibility of appeal is there.
I believe 10 days more is available. It's required 2 days now.
No, but you already botched up.
It is available for an appeal, Mr. Subramaniam.
Pinky Anand, what do you think?
I think what is, of course, an appeal is possible and appeal is available within 14 days of the order which has been passed. So I think right away that is one action which should be taken, and everything else which is required to be put into place, we put into place before the court. But having said that, let me again reiterate one of the points, that extradition is not a case which is a trial. Extradition is where there is a case already in the home country and the person is in another country. So you are asking on the basis only of showing, yes, there is a case against him, for the person to be brought back into the home country for a trial. It doesn't really have to go beyond that. The fact that we have not been able to put either these emails or the number of documents that have been arrested and the connection in the entire deal, you only have to show connections. You don't have to go beyond that to say, no, this transaction happened exactly in this.
But they don't want him back.
Intent of the law in any manner. Extradition. We don't. No, that is your right. So the question is, there is always this fear that what kind of association and conspiracy is involved. So you don't want him back here.
No.
Now, Arnab, what we need to watch day after day on an issue of national security, we have to see if the government goes up in appeal and how the government prosecutes it. We all have to watch that.
Well, I don't know. They'll make some appeal. They'll go through the motions. But the fact is, they already lost the case. I really think so. And if national security is an issue,
I don't think it is lost. When you go one court, the magistrate is held in our favor. The magistrate says extradite. The Home Secretary on that basis has issued an order.
Two of them.
In appeal, yes, whatever right, wrong. Now, for example, it is obvious, it has been set aside. It is definitely open to us to go to the higher court and to show to the Supreme Court in this case. Never mind. I mean,
no,
fine,
we can't go.
For a moment, let's go beyond today.
We have no locus standi pinky in any foreign court.
Mr. Joginder Singh, one thing, and I'll tell you one thing.
We have to go to the government.
Sorry, Mr. Joginder Singh. The government has a locus to go to the higher court. There's no question about it.
Hundreds of people die. Mr. Joginder Singh, have a heart.
You are asking for extradition.
Our cases.
You are asking for extradition. You don't have a right to go to court.
I put a bigger issue. Just a minute. I want to close with Mahroof. A bigger issue is this: hundreds. So many people die in the Bhopal. So many people die in the Bhopal gas tragedy. We let Warren Anderson get away. Okay, we let him get away. He didn't go away. We made it easy for him. Kim Devi comes and drops arms over Purulia. We let him get away. Okay? We let him get away. He's not a magician. We allowed him to get away. I'm saying with all responsibility.
The government of India released
and Quatharoki. Quatharoki in the Beaufort scam. One sec. Quatharoki in the Beaufort scam masterminded it. Okay, and don't tell me, Joginder Singh, I know the exact dates in which the FIR has been filed in the Beaufort case. I remember that case page by page. You let Quatharoki. We caught him. Times now could track him down. Times now tracked him down to a South American airport. The CBI says it could not find him. Is it a joke? But today I ask this question with all responsibility, Mahroof. This man stole our nation's secrets, compromised our nation's security. We let him get away. We say we are talking about national security issues in this election. Where does this count, Mahroof? Can you tell our people, just our viewers today who are watching, how dangerous it is if this case goes on like this and gets closed like this? What will be the implications?
Arnab, I'm not making this remark in a light-hearted manner. Believe me, it is not just me, but I think generally the entire thinking population of the country, and more specifically the top newspapers and the editorial writers, are all in more or less consensus that national security has taken a back seat under the last 10 years of the UPA 1 and 2 government, primarily because bulk of them at the top level are clueless on matters of national security. We have their apologists coming on your channel, often saying that, this has been done in the interest of national security. A few weeks ago, they justified keeping the Henderson Brooks report under wraps on national security when all the lessons to be learned have been implemented by the military, but it's just the ministry that hasn't learned the lessons that it should have. So national security has become the fig leaf by which they cover their shortcomings. My point is that in this period of our history, when we are going to the polls, I'd be very surprised if in the next 14 days, if our CBI and all our legal minds can put together a case to get Shankaran back to India when they had all the years in front of them and they still botched it up. Clearly, I mean, if you go by inference, logic says that there were larger purposes guiding the activities of CBI and others to ensure that this man doesn't come back to India to spill the beans. It is an embarrassment. And the people who receive this are middle-level officers in the armed forces who are often made scapegoats of the games that our politicians play under the pretext of protecting national security.
I am willing to reveal...
We must, as a country, wake up and ask this question of our political leadership. Do they really care for nation and national security, or they only care to win the next election?
It was an Australian magazine that revealed how secret documents were leaked with the help of a USB pen drive from the naval operations in New Delhi, known as the Naval War Room. With all sincerity, as we put on air pictures of this man, I ask today, is this not one of the biggest issues before the national election? Is national security, does it not matter? 1 billion people today watch as Shankaran gets away. I ask you, wherever you're watching tonight, do you feel comfortable that a person who stole your nation's greatest defense secret just got away today? and will be smiling away sitting in London somewhere. Do you not expect your government and political class to discuss this, debate this at this time? If this is not the time for accountability, then what is? Thank you very much for joining me on this chat. I hope the Congress gets represented the next time. And thanks for joining me on this Newshour debate. I'll see you on the other side.